concentrated in having Brazilian researchers participating and submitting papers. This is a very characteristic of SBMF, having international participants. This has guided the organization in this last decade at least, to focus on having cities that are easy to travel to, or easy to reach from the perspective of the international participants. So this is something that we have a concern we have in our heads. However, registration has been decreasing. This is something that we have seen in the last 3 or 4 years at least. I put here a number of participants, estimated number of participants from each of these 2017 through to last year, and the participation was getting low, and the submissions as well. We have been a decrease in the submission. We have seen a decrease in the submissions from 2015, I think, but it's been decreasing from 2017 as much. In 2019, it was a special case because we had this. We made a decision in trying to put up some journal first submission for the symposium. So all the authors should submit their papers to the journal, the Science of Computing Programming Journal Committee. And this journal committee would they would require the papers to have the profile of the journal submissions. This profile is actually not is not suitable to conference because it's longer and it requires a more complete work. So we thought that we evaluated this as not a very good idea, and this decreased the submission substantially. So this year we returned to the older version, the old the submission system we used before, using a conference paper as a basis for submission, and asking or inviting the past papers to submit to the journal later. So this increased a little bit number of submissions from last year, but still it's lower than previous years. So these are the problems that we have seen, and one of the questions we had was what has happening to the community? What has happened to the Brazilian community? Do we still have a Brazilian community of formal methods? What kinds of research work they are doing? Are they still the more traditional authors that submit the papers to SBMF? Are they still working with formal methods? This is becoming very common to have researchers actually shifting their research interests to other areas and focusing on trying to submit papers in other areas that are not suitable to SBMF anymore. It's happening a lot. It actually happened to me as well, because from my PhD work, which was in formal methods, I have shifted my research to other areas as well. So it happens that I may have been having less work to submit to SBMF than previous years. So we decided to go with the census and try to get as many people as possible to answer the questionnaire we have sent by email, and ask them what they're doing. what kind of research are you doing, and why are you not submitting to SBMF anymore? So that's the essential of the essence of the questionnaire. So the methodology, we asked 18 uh, previous published authors and organizers of the SBMF from previous years, and we gathered a set of 18 people who we called hubs. These hubs would ask it to spread the questionnaire to the researchers, the former PhD students they had, or other students or colleagues, and see what if they are still doing something in some research work in formal methods. They were asked to answer the questionnaire. The questionnaire was also made public through mailing lists, Brazilian Computer Society and other mailing lists, with a 1 month deadline. And we also sent one reminder close to the deadline. So uh, this is the example of the instrument. We sent to Brazilian researchers only for now. We planned to do this for international researchers as well, but we didn't do that yet. So for now, the the census, the questionnaire questions they are in Portuguese. So this was run beginning of this year, around January and February, before the pandemic reached Brazil. So we still were planning to have a physical venue of SBMF in Ouro Preto. So we're still, uh, we didn't know this would be the situation right now. So the census answers also reflect that. So this is important to see. So we got 25 responses in total, which we expected more. Uh, but maybe this is a reflection of the smaller community. The community is getting smaller, right? This is probably a sign of it. They are spread into 4 Brazilian regions. Most of them are in the Northeast in blue, which is this part here, 45%. We have 30% from the Southeast, 10% from the South, and 50% from Brasilia, the capital and the center region of Brazil. Um, these word cloud we have done with the research topics. Since the words were in Portuguese, the cloud was built around these words in Portuguese, but I can translate a bit. Like the most cited one was verification. We have some numerous citations to methods, models, CSP, and PVS programs, model checking a little bit, informal, which is not, it's very general. It doesn't really mean anything. But verification is, and PVS and CSP are calling our attention mostly. Um, from the people we had responses from, they 60%, almost 61% submitted to the last 5 edition, one of the 5 editions of SBMF. But we asked the ones that said no, why they did that, why they didn't submit to SBMF. And some of the answers were like, no room for more theoretical work. It's too focused on soft engineering applications. So our people were in the theoretical areas of computer science who would see SBMF as an interesting interesting venue for publication, but they don't see much room for that. There are some people who didn't know the venue, which is probably a sign that we are still failing in publicizing the, the symposium and the spreading the they call for participation and call for papers through the academy context. And probably the most cited answer was lack of funding and low qualities. Qualities, for those who don't know, is the Brazilian classification grade for conferences and journals. And for those who don't know this, which is probably going to actually be extinct next year, as I heard. This is qualifies the conference, and if you don't publish in high quality, high qualified conferences, you don't get funding, and you can ask for travel money. So usually this is a problem for the Brazilian symposium as well. All the Brazilian symposium were suffering from this issue, and this is what was probably the most mentioned reason for not submitting to SBMF. Okay, the participation was balanced, like 56% said yes, they participated. Again, why not? Lack of funding and the cost benefit of traveling to the conference. Uh, that's why I expect we probably will expect a higher number of participants from the last 2 years. Now in this edition, because of the virtual participation, because funding in Brazil for making those trips is very important because of the size of the country. If we have people from all the other regions to go to one region to attend the venue, uh, this is probably cost. This is gonna cost a lot of money, and as long as we don't have much research money right now, it has been happening from at least 5 or 6 years from now. This is a big issue for participation. Also, there are some people who said the event is too small and it's not worth the funding, the used funding for traveling and doing subscription and all the other stuff, all the other costs. Um, so before the pandemics, we asked this question if they were planning to attend. Most people said maybe. So there are some, only a small percentage of people said yes. And we asked why not. They were we were having a hard time at, at that period of time with the journal first submissions from the 2019. So a lot of people were afraid of that. So they didn't plan to submit papers in this model. So we changed the model actually, but this was not said in the census. There was a lack of funding also as usual. And some people said that it was not interesting for their research. This matches the response from theoretical computer science researchers. So this is one of the options we have to consider, is like to open submissions to a more comprehensive set of research topics. And this would maybe it would change the profile of the venue, and maybe change some of the uh, uh, probably try to reach a higher number of researchers and authors. Okay, there was some room for suggestions in the form, but most of the answers repeated, were redundant in terms of what was answered before. I want to highlight some of those here. Uh, Besides the more theoretical, uh, uh, asking for more theoretical work and journal first, uh, whereas people are suggesting looking for partnerships with industry, especially the ones that use formal methods. This is a problem in Brazil. Uh, we don't see many companies actually applying those and willing to sponsor events, uh, especially scientific events. Uh, but it's important suggestion actually, if we think if we can make the event more open to the development community as well, because it's very focused right now on the academic people, academic public. So this is something we have to discuss and talk about. Um, Open calls for organizing the conference in the next 2 or 3 years. There may be some people who are interested in organizing the conference in their cities. Right now, we're deciding the next venue in the committee meeting in the venue before. So it's probably something that we have to see and talk about, and see if we can open the discussion to a wider audience, and see if we have people interested in making organizing the event. Budget problems is a big issue for organizing events and for participation. This is something that we have to think about. But actually, one thing that is very specific to what happened in 2020 is that we may have a way, using this hybrid uh, model of conference and having a part of the conference being virtual or something like that. This may be a path, or may be a way to increase participation and lower the costs of organization as well. Uh, so and also as a problem for the special committee, and elaborate a plan for increasing visibility with tasks and goals. This is something we probably will discuss this year's meeting. Is taking a plan for actually making this a visible, and making all other areas of theoretical computer science as formal methods, and see if we have room, we have a place, if we have a place in the scientific community of formal methods as well. Um, and this would maybe integrate this with integrate the theoretical part with the practice part, and see how these things could be in synergy for making a more interesting conference for everybody. Okay, that's it. These are the suggestions, and this is a very short presentation. Actually, I didn't want to get into much detail, but I just wanted to give an overview of the community for now, and see if this would open our minds for thinking about solutions for for getting people together in the community, and see if we can collaborate more in terms of research as well. This is the final objective, isn't it? This is uh, getting people together to collaborate and make more impactful work. This is the desire of the special committee. So thank you for watching, and uh, maybe there are some questions. I don't know. How can we proceed?
Uh, Thank you, Tiago, for your talk and the insights. If the audience has questions, I please ask you to send them at the Slack channel. Currently, as far as have noticed, we have no questions at the Slack, but Tiago, I have one question for you, please. So, as a president of this special group, what would be your first two actions to promote both national and international participation in submissions?
Well, based on these answers, maybe try to increase the scope of the census to try to reach more people in areas that use some kind of theoretical work in computer science, and see what kinds of conference they have. Uh, not as maybe not focused on uh, software engineering applications only, but important as well for software development. Um, for example, theoretical work on algorithms or theoretical work on logic. Uh, this this may be not directly applicable to software development as it is, but it has some relevance in terms of the tools for the community to work on problems that are specific to software engineering. But I would say that we have to establish the goals, what we want to do with this census, what we want to know, what, how long are we taking to decide if this conference or this symposium is going to be different as it has been in the last few years. Uh, we have to give, we have to establish the milestones, the deadlines, and on these deadlines we make decisions. This is something that we should have done before, and something we have to do next year. Uh, and with the help of the community as well. Probably establish names, specific names for each of these tasks, and try to manage this as a research project, actually, and see the results next year. So this is something that I would do. Uh, but we have to hear to listen to the community as well, and I hope in this year's meeting we have more people participating and see their feedback and see how this is going to go. So I'm looking forward to it this year.
Okay. So let me just double check whether we have anything. Just let know. Okay, so I think that we are approaching the end of the first warm-up session of SBMF 2020. And I would like to thank you, Tiago, once again for being with us. And I would like to remind you all that at 2 p.m. Brazilian time, we are going to have our second warm-up session on a practical introduction to formal methods using COC. So it's going to be a very practical presentation illustrating some basic notions of formal methods and how you can use them to develop safer software. So, thank you, Tiago, once again, and thank you all for attending this first warm up session. And see you soon.
Thank you.